Hello everyone, Lozo Klaus here, and today we're gonna review some common model, from 2005, which can be made with the 6 Visorac, and it's called the Zivon. So it's a predatory way thanks to the biosector's description. And here we go. So of course you can clearly see the color scheme is made from all the Visorac parts. But for the heads themselves, you can clearly see there is just 4 heads. In fact, there is not the 6 heads of the 6 Visorac heads in this common model. So, by the way, this component can be divided into 5 sections: the front leg, the rear leg, the body part, the arms, and finally the tail. So we're gonna check out each of these parts. So first of all, the front leg. So I'm just gonna detach one of them because the two are in fact symmetrical, so they are quite the same. So of course, it's gonna fall off. Not really a problem. We're gonna try to pose him later. So here's the front leg. So how it works, in fact, it's quite simple. It's all about connectors and pelvis parts and arms and stuff like that put together. So it's really classical, nothing really new here. So one connector, one pelvis part. Of this pelvis part, we're gonna link 2 double connectors, the longest one, you can clearly see. 2 knee covers on them to do a little armor stuff and stuff like that. Then a double connectors to link these 2 connectors together. Finally, a waxy leg right there. On connectors, and then on it little parts put together right here to put the Visorac legs, Visorac mandible, but used as part of the leg, of course. And it's the same for the other one, except for some colors which change. For example, For example, this red part, and here is a blue part, of course. Now we're gonna check the rear section. So, oh yes, maybe just one of the legs again, because it's quite the same. So this time, in fact, there is 2 legs. There is the middle leg and the rear one. So here's the middle one. In fact, they are quite similar because they use both the long double connectors, the same Visorac legs, but white ears. You can clearly see as a little design element. And finally, they use a mandible as part of the leg, so like the front legs, in fact. So it's quite simple, and we're gonna use this Visorac arm to link this on the connector right here. So double connector, no S, which is linked to the body section. So there we go, like that. If you look closely, so it's not a problem if every vertical falls off. By the way, we're gonna put them back together later. Then we have the body section part, which is pretty simple because it's just a fusion, if I can say so, of different body parts put together, thrown together. So for example, you can clearly see there is one right there with the Visorac head to make the back of the Zivon, if I can say so. So it's a normal it's a blue Visorac head, nothing to say more. Then we're gonna nothing to add, yes. Then we're gonna have a second one right here, which will be in fact useful to link the 2 front legs with or thanks to the little connectors right there. Finally, another one putting in this direction, which will be useful this time to link the arms. We're gonna see how the arms are made later. And finally, you can't really see well, but the final Visorac frame or body frame to link the final head, so the red Visorac heads, in fact. And also you can notice that on the body section there is some decoration with some Visorac legs put right here, so in a V shape. And now for the arms, I think the arms are in fact pretty simple because it's how it works, in fact. So just on vacuum legs and the double connectors, and then on this double connector we're gonna link a body frame and a Visorac head, in fact the brown one, but with the black mandible. And this time we're gonna, and the other arm, the left one, is made with the black Visorac head and the brown mandible. So I think it's pretty simple, in fact, pretty clear. And finally, the tail part, which is linked on this section, as you can clearly see, and it's made, of course, with different type of arms put together with some connectors. And here's the tip or the top of the tail right here, which looks like some spike. And that's all, guys, for the construction. So as you can clearly see, it's really all about the different type of legs and stuff like that put together, because in fact the body is not really complex. In fact, it's just, as you can clearly see, it's just this strange shape of the body got just this blocky shape, and that's what it's all, in fact. So the articulation section, of course, is pretty well articulated, but Maybe I'm not gonna talk about everything, but as you can clearly see, this part can turn and stuff like that. So I think the most important part, which is not the articulation part, is the posability part. So in fact, it's the first time you will try, it's quite hard because you have to do with 6 legs to pose him, and as you can clearly see, these legs are quite thin in fact, and also this mandible are quite thin, so it's not like it was some older feet or stuff like that. So it's quite, in fact, hard to pose if you ask me. Oh, it's worked pretty well right here. So you have really to balance the weight, if I can say so, for the ball, look at that, it just fall off. So I really have to adjust every leg if I really want to pose him in the better way, or at least just succeed in posing him. Oh, and that works. You can also move the tail in different direction. So, well, as you can clearly see, if I just move him a little, it will fall off. So, I'm gonna really try a last time to pose him, and then I'm just gonna talk about the arms, I think, and that will be all, because in fact, there is not much to say. I think that the video will, yes, is pretty clear on what you get when you will finish building the Zivon. Excuse me. And you can also do a more easy stuff, just put this like that, for example, and it will of course go on the ground. So of course you have more surface to pose, but of course you're supposed to put this like that, which is in fact harder than just putting the, which is just harder to put the, there we go. So excuse me, I'm just gonna try to adjust it in front of the cam, and of course, yes, we also got some articulation on the arms, but I won't really try to pose this because it will fall off easily. So here we go. Then I put the 4 verticals. So there is just one vertical whipcord, in fact, which is on the wide body frame, but of course you can use it to plug it in the other Bionicle body. And here we go, guys. The Zivon. So I'm just gonna try to do a turn around, hoping that it will not fall off. Excuse me if you see a little corner of one of my book. So this thing, in fact, is pretty tall. I do not have any stuff to compare. Yeah, because I just some. Well, I've got some Mato Maui white here, so it's a canister sized. So here we go for the comparison size. So quite like that, in fact. So it's quite tall, but as you can clearly see, it's kind of hard to pose, in fact. Or at least you can really just do one type of pose and not that much different pose. So that's all, guys. I think I'm gonna stop with this review because I shown you everything. I have not really that much to say on this one. So if you want a little swap on this set, I would say that the overall design is pretty cool, in fact. So it's a tall, big spider. So the 6 different legs are quite. I think they manage to look good and stuff like that. But apart from that, it's not really that complex. The body frame, as you can clearly see, the body frame is not really that complex or interesting at all. The only good point, in fact, with this frame is that it does not really have any holes. So it's better than some other combiners with tons of little flaws and holes everywhere, which really wins the overall design. This time there is not that much holes, so it's quite okay. In fact, it's quite clear. But apart from that, there is not much to say. It's a big spider. It's quite tall. It's quite, in fact, it's quite successful in the overall design, even if it's not really that original. And apart from that, the posability can be good, but because of course there is tons of white ears, and this kind of hard to pose just on this little part right here, it's kind of hard to pose, as you have seen earlier in my review. And that's quite all. So did I recommend you to build this one? Not really. Personally, it doesn't really impress me at all. I first built it in 2006, I think, but well, I don't really know, but I'm not really a fan of this one, seriously, guys. But again, it's up to you. So, for example, you can still try to make some more pose. For example, a crouched one. I'm gonna try. but still I think it's quite hard to pause, not really that entertaining, and of course the playability is quite hard when it falls off every 30 seconds. We're just gonna do this like that, for example. You can clearly see this time we're gonna need this part touch ground, so of course it will not fall off. So that's all, guys. I think I maybe do a little last pause. Excuse me for this review. It's kind of chaotic, but this is the first one I made this one. This is the first one I made today, so you know it's quite hard to begin to review a set early in the morning. Okay, and it's even harder when this stuff doesn't really want to pause, or really hard to pause. So my connectors are kind of loose, of course. They kind of lose their grip. So here we go, guys. I think that will be the final pause. Try not to show my books, and that's all. So that's Zivon. I think I've said everything I have to say on this model, guys. So it's quite okay. Of course, it's tall, it's quite impressive and stuff like that. But the construction itself is not really that interesting, because it's all about the legs. The body section is not really that well made. Of course, it doesn't have any real big hole and stuff like that. But it's not really that entertaining. And I think that the playability is not really a good point on this set, because as you can clearly see, it's quite hard to pause. So I don't really try to imagine playing with that stuff, in fact. So that's all, guys, but of course I hope you have made your own opinion on this set with this video review, and also I hope you enjoyed it, of course. If you have still any question on this model, for example question I have not answered in my review, or stuff I have not talked about, just ask them, of course, and I will try to answer them. And that's all. So hope you enjoyed this one, and see you later for another Bionicle video review. Bye bye.